we're getting a little bit closer to the actual start. Some of the founders are going to hop in here, so yeah, like sorry to anyone that hopped in earlier and we were, but now it's AMA time. The music will stop, but I guess we can just entertain everyone until Tyler or Troy and everyone joins.
Game time. What time is it? Polymorph o'clock.
Polymorphaholics in the chat.
Polymorphaholics Anonymous. I need that in my life, dude. And the polymorphs were one of the first NFTs I was buying, right? Because I was like right when I became a DeFi person, and my mom was like, "Please don't get addicted to spending all your money on these." And I think it's only gotten worse from there.
Yeah, I mean, like it's kind of hard not to spend all your money on some of this stuff.
No regrets, but it was just how it played out.
Oh, I have no regrets. I think I own over 100. So I think my only regret is that I wasn't just spending all my extra money on them, I guess.
I don't regret sending them to all my friends for NFT NYC, but one of them listed it on LooksRare to get the airdrop and messages me is like, dude, my polymorph left my wallet. And so I check his Etherscan and he accidentally sold it on LooksRare.
Sold it on LooksRare. Wow.
So he was like freaking out, so upset, and I was like,
not gonna make it.
Like, not much I can do there. You listed it to get that airdrop. And
LooksRare probably just jacked it.
Yeah.
No man left behind.
Well, he got left behind.
Wait, what happened?
So my buddy listed one of the polymorphs I gave him to go to NFT NYC on LooksRare, and he didn't realize it, so he texted me asking why this polymorph left his wallet. But I realized very quickly it's because he sold it on LooksRare.
Did he sell it for? What did he sell it for?
0.05.
Not gonna make it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Polymorphs are doing great.
Yeah, they're doing awesome. They're as cute as ever, and
there's a monkey on the floor with a gun and a sword. I might go shopping.
So, like, one thing that I kind of want to talk about with the polymorphs is there's always people asking us questions about them, yo, what's the best one, or what's this or what's that. It's I just want to be clear that we're gonna build out a lot of tech, and I don't know we could be building games for the polymorphs for 5 years. So to say one's better than the other, I think kind of hard to tell right now, because you never really know what which trait or which thing is going to be overpowered in a certain game. I can say the lightsabers right now, the lightsabers are a item in the polymorph universe that actually is not, it doesn't belong to a set. So what we did is we actually weighted it heavier in the game, because obviously a lightsaber is a pretty powerful weapon, but essentially it's one of the contributing items to rarity unless you have dual lightsabers, because they don't match a set. We have a pretty crazy rarity system, but they don't I don't know how to really explain this, but one thing that may be rare or super powerful now could be not as rare or powerful in another game or another thing we build, because we try to build as much logic into this stuff as well. As we built the polymorph game, obviously the ripped zombie shirt isn't going to give you a lot of protection in the game, so we gave that one not a lot of defense, but zombies are pretty crazy, and they'll attack you even if you shoot them, or I don't know how you kill a zombie. That's a pretty speculative thing, right? So
but that's a vampire, not a zombie, so I'm not sure how to effectively handle a zombie problem.
Yeah, so, sounds like y'all haven't watched enough zombie movies. You shoot them in the head or cut their head off.
They're like a snake, though. The fingers keep wiggling. I'm just kidding. I don't know. Okay, so I think most people have joined. Is Troy in here? Maybe not. But I think we can go ahead and get started. So the way we usually do this for people who hop on the or watch the universe calls online. So one idea that Tyler had was that we want to start these calls, making them more like community centric. So one thing that we wanted to do was just like go ahead and merge our project calls with the Discord AMAs, because we had really good feedback from the AMAs and people seemed like they really liked them. So like at the beginning of these calls, we'll just run through our normal like project style updates, and then we'll answer some of the questions like in the project channel. We'll probably end up having everyone direct their questions in this pre-AMA channel that we'll leave open throughout the week, and like everyone can just go there and post their questions, and we'll start addressing the questions that get in there. But like last week, people post questions and we'll go ahead and answer them too, because but eventually we'll cut it off, and because this is a recorded call, we'll want to upload it to so everyone can watch it. So we don't want to make them too lengthy, but we do want to like open up the end of the call to these like open discussions, because we really want everyone involved in Universe to be as as involved as possible, and we think that this is one of the best ways to really do that is by start working more transparently in the open. And like we want people to be able to come and contribute to our open source protocol, because that's essentially how DAOs need to function. And it'll take some learning, but I think that we're on the right track, and we have a good plan of how we're going to decentralize really the transparency of like how we're getting work done and kind of when things are rolling out, and allow people to kind of come in and be able to help a little bit more, so that everyone's really knows what's going on all over Universe. So I guess we can go ahead and start with our updates. That's kind of was number one on the list, was to kind of go over this new call style. These are going to be uploaded to YouTube every week, like our project calls are, just because this is, we'll do these at like 3 or 4, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It'll depend, sometimes depending on our schedules, but we'll try to make it consistently at the same time. But we know not everyone can join this, but we wanted to make it friendly to as along with, Western United States, which is like, I think it's like 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock in California right now. So we just wanted to be like aware of everyone's time. So we'll definitely record them up. But I think this time works good for everyone. Everyone can like give their feedback, but I don't think we'll keep the time of this call, because we do record it, and everyone has the question a week. So I think it's a good system, and everyone can join if they have the time.
Are we recording this one?
Yeah, Zach's already have started recording this.
Nice.
And yeah, we'll even have like some music before the project call. So like if you hop in here early, we're talking about stuff, maybe like Fluff Alpha or like whatever. Like before this call, we were talking about a little bit of like stuff going on, or just like speculating some other NFTs. So like, we'll be in the Discord a little bit early. So if anyone wants to hop in there and like have a fun discussion, that's not going to be recorded. But like we will eventually, like we'll start recording and post, so everyone has these ability to watch these calls. So next, we'll kind of like roll into the updates and marketplace. I'll just go ahead and go over some of this, and then if Ryan wants to jump in at all, he can. So as everyone knows, we launched our minting last week, and we actually feel like we had really good feedback. We had a few issues on the front end, but we just want everyone to know that those minting contracts that we released, we could say they were essentially kind of bare, but we have a lot more features coming out soon. And one of our founders, Tim Kang, has been putting a lot of effort and trying to, really get awesome minting contracts written out, and he's really been taking that on himself to add a lot of new customizable NFTs and NFTs, more for the artist. So, eventually Tim will come on and tell us about a lot of those new minting features, but we have a lot of those front ends right now. Those contracts are done. So like we're going to figure out, when those are going to be squeezed out in releases. But, I just want everyone to know, like, what you see isn't completely what you're going to get. We're going to be launching more and more types of minting contracts and more features as the community requests them, and as our developers and our founders bring like code to the table. Like Tim actually writes his own smart contracts and works very closely with other big names in the industry like Monster Cat and Manifold to build contracts that are artist centric and that are for artists. So we definitely want to keep focusing on that and bringing updates to the front end that people from the XYZ community bring forward and request. And something that's super powerful about that is the XYZ token is a governance token. We can vote to have all of this or any front end feature or any type of smart contract feature to be added. We can all put a proposal in and vote together. We've actually had some extremely good discussions going on in our forums over the last few days. Some people even talking about doing an airdrop to but essentially that's up to the community if we do that. But that's the very powerful thing about Universe being a DAO and, keep moving in the direction that we are. I think that we're going to truly have a community run marketplace that we can all take pride in saying that we built together, and that, essentially what we want to do is build an open source community project that everyone's going to be able to build together and build on top of and move forward as NFTs and DeFi and all this really cool stuff that we're working on in crypto scale. I want to also address some of the auctions updates. Some people may not realize that we're working on a few different types of auction platform that the industry hasn't quite seen. One of them being the Justin Blau style auction that he did last April, which was Justin had released an album and had certain different tiers of the album, and people were able to go bid on those tiers, and multiple NFTs could be in those tiers, and you could have multiple winners in each tier. So, basically Justin, I believe, had like one gold album. I think he had 5 silvers, like 20 regular editions. But that was like 25 spots of the auction. And each person that won a slot essentially got, multiple NFTs that were locked in the tier. So it's actually a really awesome auction style. But one thing that we wanted to do was give artists the ability to take 0 fees on these auctions. Because auctions are kind of a little bit different than just like listing something on the second market of like OpenSea. That's kind of why like Foundation and some of these platforms are more focused on auctions, because like the artists want to launch these one-of-one work and be able to, see what the market will price it at. Because like, it's kind of a weird thing to be like, well, art, like how much should I sell it for? It's kind of a weird question for artists to ask themselves or ask other people. So essentially what like the best thing to do is auction it. And OpenSea had auction reserves where like art couldn't go for less than an ETH, and that was one thing that we wanted to fix, because we felt that like, hey, like art doesn't go for an ETH, like how do they try and gauge what the fair what the fair value of that is, or whatever. Like they like let them try to gauge this in a way. So that was one thing that we essentially didn't like and wanted to fix that. So there's no reserve, set a reserve, but there's no universe set reserve. But essentially, this type of auction gives 0% to the universe marketplace. It just is a way for artists to be able to go and figure out truly what they can get for their art. And I don't think that necessarily an NFT platform should be taking a massive percentage like Foundation does, where it's 15, 30% on some of those one-of-ones that people are launching. So that's one thing that we really wanted to do. And the artists is if you're launching an NFT on an auction, on our auctions that you made yourself, you're going to get 100% of the proceeds for that. And I think that's something that really sets us apart. And I even am pretty sure the contract is up. I mean, Chuba, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but essentially, even if I wanted to go, if I had 5 Bored Apes and I wanted to auction all of them off, I'm pretty sure I can get 100% on there too.
Absolutely.
But it is, I mean, it's just that it's that different dynamic than listing it. You can go take your chances on an auction and go see how much a gold Bored Ape's going to sell, and you can actually get 100% for it. So, or you can list it and wait for someone to buy it and take the market fee. But I mean, that's a different dynamic, right? It's I'm willing to sell this thing in the next 24 hours. Let me list, see what it goes for. Versus I want 1,000 ETH for this gold Bored Ape. I'm going to list it as someone can, they're ready. They can go buy it. So we really tried to think about how this whole dynamic works and how other people should be able to use these. So we really think that the auctions, we really made it for artists, but we couldn't technically exclude secondary sales out of this. So we just said, let's do no fees. But the marketplace, I think there is a little bit of a misunderstanding about our marketplace. So our auction house is going to have 0%. And we say if you're an artist and you're going to sell your artwork, we're going to have 0% fees. But our marketplace is going to have a small fee, but we look at the marketplace as being a secondary market. If you want to sell your own NFTs or you want to mint them on universe, we'll give you the ability to auction them. But most people are going and making their own, for instance, Bored Apes, Cool Cats, they were all minted from their own minting contract. So most people we see continuing to do stuff like that, but most one-of-one artwork isn't minted like that. So when you go make a one-of-one art, we'd assume that you'd want to try and auction it. But we're already expecting that most NFTs that are on the marketplace have already been sold to someone, if that makes sense. Chuba, maybe you can explain this another way that maybe makes a little bit more sense.
Jump in a little. So I think Mark is getting at the point, and kind of how I see the auction house is a market to facilitate price discovery. This is really useful for artists when they don't know what their content and their art is worth. And it's very useful for, say, a large art blocks collector who might have a whole bunch of pieces that are not, priced at the floor, for example. This will let you as a collector go and, facilitate price discovery for these more unique bundles of NFTs that have not been really either sold in bundles together or even have, history for themselves. And I imagine there's going to be lots of other use cases that will arise from that, as there's a lot of flexibility in how you can set up an auction. You could just sell a one-of-one in an auction all by itself if you kind of wanted to. So you have a lot of customizability, but ultimately it kind of helps facilitate price discovery. The marketplace, when you're listing there, you are putting up a fixed price. So it's not really as useful in that regard, which is why we're trying to point new artists towards the auction house instead of the marketplace. The marketplace I see as where all the secondary volume will be going, and that's where people will be going to trade the art that they've collected and kind of there is a level of price discovery that happens on the marketplace, of course, but it's very different that kind of initial spark, or for stuff that has very little price history or previous activity, like rare art blocks as an example. Yeah, and I mean, ultimately, there's no way on a contract level to tell if it's a resale or if it's a primary sale. So for the auctions contracts, we just keep it at no fees. And for the marketplace contracts, there will be fees, but of course, these will be competitive and lower than what anybody else is taking across the board.
Yep. Okay. Thank you, Chuba. That probably sounded a lot better explained. Our other updates will just be timelines, which is auctions are going to be probably within the next 2 weeks. We are looking at squeezing some features into the auctions contracts. We had some discussions about it this morning. We aren't exactly what those are, but if we decide to go with that, it may add an extra week to the auctions. It's not going to add any time for the marketplace, but we are suspecting that the marketplace is 5 to 6 weeks out if everything goes to plan. Our audits have looked really good so far on everything that we've released. We haven't released any of our audits yet just because they have been done privately, but as we roll out more of our documentation and logic about like how to connect to the APIs and all of our audit information and all of that stuff. So it's just know that everything that we do release has been audited. It's just we aren't releasing the documentation right away. So just bear with us on that.
Yeah, okay. If you want to jump in, Mark, with a few comments on like the market, I can talk a little bit about kind of what we're focusing on right now, in the sense that we're working on a few major components. One of which you guys have partially seen an early beta version of in minting, which is the NFT scraper. This is undergoing some really, really heavy updates right now, and I think we're all really excited to kind of see a lot of improvement on that front. And the other side that's very important is the order book side, which is where a lot of our innovation is going right now. And that's also where we're prioritizing the ability to easily integrate. So for example, other traders will be able to come in, plug into these APIs and run their own existing liquidity providing bots on them. And where it gets really important, in my opinion, is the ability for Genie, Gem, and all these other NFT aggregators to plug into us and show our listings on their dashboards. If we're offering lower fees than the rest of the market and there's liquidity at the floors, it becomes very clear where you want to be, trading, and that will, hopefully be pointing more and more kind of volume towards the Universe marketplace over the other ones. So that's a lot of where my recent excitement has been focused on.
So we'll roll into updates on yield farming. Just because I like to give everyone updates about what's going on with the token. So like always, you have the ability to govern. We have had some proposals going on recently, and we are actually probably going to start having a lot more proposals now that we have the marketplace and everything rolling out. So we'll start seeing a lot more forum discussions. Snapshot votes. We'll start discussing a lot more things like what should we be adding to the platform, what kind of things should we be doing. So like I said earlier, just recently, some of the community members had actually, and there was a really good discussion around that. We haven't completely, decided. I guess we'll eventually push that to a DAO vote and let the community decide on what we do. But this is just the power of being a DAO. What we can do with governance is essentially the heart of Universe, and whether we want to build together or not, it's we have that ability. We're going to be able to build whatever the community wants and votes on, and even if even if the team disagrees, if it's something the community wants, it's just the DAO, and that's how it's going to work. If we all vote together and it's the consensus, it's going to happen. So like even, we're not going to see dictator type decisions here at Universe like the other day with OpenSea when they were like, oh, we're going to make 50 NFTs only for every collection. It's like, you guys would never have seen something like that here because it's like we have to put a vote in to make a decision like that. Like we as the team just can't go make that decision and be like, this is because essentially we can be voted out, and that's really the important side of governance. And I just like to talk about that all the time, but I'll talk a little bit more about the League DAO is ending pretty soon, and I think this is actually the last week that you can farm Enter tokens. It actually may have already ended. I'm not even completely sure. But yeah, Enter DAO is ending, and I believe we may be a farming token for the ASTO, which is the altered state machine token, but I'm not like 100,000% sure on that, but I think so. I think it's happening. Also, the last thing we want to go over is just some polymorph updates. And Nick, Algie, Zach, everyone can kind of hop in here and just say, like, we have kind of been quiet, and also we're essentially sorry. We really refocused, and we've said this a few times, we really transitioned our focus to launching this decentralized marketplace, getting these minting 8-9 months. We dropped polymorphs, I think back in August or July, but we have like over 1,000 hours of work into polymorphs. Like the new polymorph scramble contracts are done. We just haven't had the time to deploy them because we don't want to pull everyone's attention away with what most people in the community seem like they care about, which is the marketplace. So we've really, really started focusing, or we've been focused since October on getting this out. I mean, we thought we were going to be able to launch October, November, and essentially we had some issues that we had to resolve. But now we're finally to the point where we're about to launch, and we have a lot of updates for the polymorphs. We've built a game ourselves. It's more of a mathematical odds game. It's not like I'm going to control my polymorph type game. But we made that game a few months ago, and we've seen a lot of awesome games get built in the space, and we actually have been in the process of building a second game with Line Chain. George is actually building a pretty awesome. So we have 2 games in the works. One is actually finished. And it's more of an odds-based game where you're going to be able to bet on your polymorph, and you're wagering to see if your polymorph is going to beat the other polymorph in a battle. But essentially, we're going to use random number generation, but we'll post a chart that kind of explains how each weapon or which armor is weighted, because each item in the polymorphic universe is going to be weighted slightly than each other. So like as I was saying, before we started the recording, we were having some conversations in chat about or actually maybe we talked about this at the beginning of the call, but we really want to focus on trying to make the polymorphs as equal as possible. So in this first game, we made the lightsabers pretty powerful, because essentially the lightsabers are one of the less contributing items to rarity unless you carry 2 lightsabers. because the lightsabers don't really go with any of the sets. Like they aesthetically go with the ninja outfit. It kind of looks like a Sith Lord, but it doesn't like technically add any rarity if that's what it if like that's what it's combined with. So we essentially made the lightsabers one of the most powerful items in the battle, but like we tried to make it as logical as possible. Actually, I think we did talk about this because Tyler was talking about the zombies. But essentially, we made the lightsabers super powerful because it was the least contributing item to rarity. Like, we wanted to make it logical. So, like, the armors are definitely powerful in defense, but they're going to slow you down on your attack. And, like, the zombie shirt, it's pretty good at attacking, but it's like a ripped shirt. It's like something Kanye West will. It's not going to give you, like, major defense. So, essentially, you know, we're going to build a lot of games. And, like, so this first game, you have all these different traits and rarities and powers. But, like, the next game we make, something else may get, you know, be more powerful or something. So, it's almost like the way Fluff World does it, where they don't, like, underlook any trait, because you never know, like, what trait is going to get airdropped some really cool thing that, you know, only that trait gets. Like, for instance, like the POTAs, the Pixel of the Apes, they get a lot of cool shit for Fluff World. Like I own a POTA. I can't even say. I think I got a brick thingy. It has like these Lego brick backpacks, but you never know. I mean, that's not a trait on the fluffs. I guess maybe the mansion background would have been better. It literally says on the mansion, if you look in the description, it says, these fluffs only get the best. But, like, who knows? We're going to make a lot of tech is the point of this conversation, this rant, and you never know. Like, everyone's like, damn, I want to clown. But, like, I'm a full set maxi. I think full sets are the coolest thing. It doesn't matter if it's Clown Charles, but I'm biased. Chuba, don't shoot me. Chuba's a Clown Charles maxi. So
true. I am. I can confirm.
Okay, so I just want everyone to have faith. You know, don't write off the polymorphs. We're gonna be doing a lot. We have, like, I would say 1,000 hours of work into them. We have 3D models that are going 2D, like, sprites that can go into different types of metaverses, and were built for George's game, which you're actually going to be able to control your polymorphs, be able to fight each other. You know, you're actually going to be doing a lot of shit. But George is probably going to kill me for even leaking information the game that he's been.
Yeah, let me just reiterate that we've collectively put in 69,000 hours into the polymorphs because we like the morphs.
Yeah, we like the morphs. Okay, so we're done. That would have been our project call. And then this is when we're all like, all right, see you guys later. But we're going to do community questions now, and we're going to open this up to discussions. But we are going to start with the project call questions just because that's usually do on the project calls. And I don't want these people who posted their questions in here to feel like they got rugged, because some of these questions are actually pretty good. Okay. Oh, fuck. This one's pretty long. Bob, dude, you gave me a really long. I was wondering, do we have plans of releasing staking pools in the meantime? I think that would get eyes on us. I mean, we have, like, the DAO staking pools. We don't really. I mean, we have the LP incentivization pool. We have the DAO staking pool. We have, like, talked about trying to get some ideas of how to use the XYZ token on the haven't really decided. There's some ideas in the community, but we haven't really. I mean, we have DAO staking and we have LP staking. If you're looking for staking opportunities, I would say that's the best. I mean, you had Enter DAO, you had League DAO, you have Altered State Machine coming, I believe. XYZ. I mean, we've really tried to align ourselves with some of the better NFT projects on the staking side. So I would just Bob. I would just stick to to these calls and just try to listen in as much as possible, because we do try to tell everyone about those. Okay. And then let me see if there's any more questions. This guy says, my knee hurt. How will XYZ fix this? I was just kidding. But he really asked that. But we'll go to pre-AMA now. So, all you universe team, I guess, unmute, and we'll go ahead and start answering these questions. I'm going to slide up here. I think Ben Franklin has the first question, and
yeah, I can touch on that if you like.
About the vampire attack.
Oh, that's
no. His question is, what is the plan to drive demand to the marketplace?
Wait, how many questions did this guy? I'm seeing his first question being, how does this Polymorph accrue value back to XYZ token holders? Are we talking about that question?
Yeah, I mean, we can answer that question.
Yeah, I'll start there. I mean, with the polymorphs, there's a treasury that was built by the original sale, and that's in the Universe DAO, which is owned by the XYZ token holders, and the secondary royalties flow there as well. So continued success of polymorphs does accrue value back to the XYZ DAO. The fluffs are a different story. That's not our project, but because we're partnered with them, we hope for their success, and we will do our best to kind of integrate with them as possible.
Nice. Okay.
The Ben Franklin person, I remember having a conversation with him. His question was basically he sees a lot of big names on our team page that he is familiar with, and he was basically, it was kind of, it felt a little trolling, but I feel like he did make some good points, and it was basically what how do we can actually connect with these people? We have all these names on our website, but what are they doing to help Universe, and what are our plans for marketing in the future is basically what he was wondering.
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak to any specific individual, but every person who's listed on the website has contributed in some way, shape, or form, and we hope that they'll continue to contribute and provide value to the DAO. We imagine that because they're all stakeholders in the DAO, that once the products are released, they'll have personal interests to ensure its success as well as the rest of us. So I think that that's a good position, that we have such a strong community and a slew of people involved that are stakeholders in the DAO. So I don't see that as being anything but a benefit to the community.
Yeah, and I also want to say that a lot of them, they don't, what a lot of people want when they just first start thinking about how can a person help, they think, oh, they could just be posting about us. And that isn't really true. And from experience, just having somebody post about us isn't really helpful. So it's way better when and this is how we communicate with our contributors, is just if we get on a relationship where we're trying to both be mutually benefiting each other, and the way it's more of a friendship that we have with all of these, and it's not I don't know, it's definitely not a paid shill. Not a lot of good projects do that, but it's also not just hey, we're reaching out to you because what I mean? It's more of a what's up, friend? We want to build together type of a relationship that we have with these people. So a lot of those artists are just awaiting for us to have the right tool for them to use, and a lot of them see us as like like a beacon, because it's very hard for artists, like musicians and even artists, to make money now. Like NFTs have created this opportunity where it can be consistent for artists and just creators in general. So a lot of these big names you see, well, you see them as like these celebrities. Well, they're normal people, and they just want to have tools that work the best for them. So that's why they contribute to us. It's not because we hit them up and we're like, yo, we want you guys to help us. It was more of like a mutual thing where they heard about what we were doing and they wanted to get involved, and we want as many smart people involved as we can get. As simple as that.
We're all in the same boat. We all are very passionate about NFTs. That means we've all been trading on OpenSea for some time, and that means we all have our own personal reasons why we may or may not want a decentralized alternative. And so I think basically anybody on that page and anybody you talk to in the community is, very passionate about building decentralized marketplaces for NFTs, because we're so passionate about, NFTs themselves, the art, the tech, and the potential in the future for them.
All right, we can go to the next question now.
Okay. The next question was, okay. Are there any concerns with the XYZ token having no utility? Looks holders get profit shares, but what's the reason to hold XYZ?
Who's it from?
What? It's from Underground Man, who's one of the chosen. Oh, Crypteca. Oh, okay. Yeah, Crypteca asked us. Underground Man just reposted it.
So, I mean, this is an ongoing conversation in the forum right now, and I've put my opinions in there. There is a lot of legal weird gray area with that, guys, and we don't want to talk about it too much, but like rewarding fees back to token holders, you do start to kind of get into legal gray areas of like securities and things like that. So I don't know how Rarible does it. I know that Resistance had put that in there that they do, and I haven't had time today to research that. Sorry, my days like right now are absolutely insane. Like I'm working from like 6 a.m. to like 10 at night. So I just don't have the bandwidth to do crazy research on that. But I have worked for other projects that have done similar things, and every time they do that, it becomes just this legal quagmire of clusterfuck. And like as of right now, I just think going towards in that direction before we have all this ecosystem built out entirely, I think it will cause more of a headache in that direction. I do fully support a lot of these kind of collection vampire attacks that are in that form. I think it's really smart. But the utility of the token, without giving away too much because we don't want to leak everything that we're doing, I do think that there will be other utility built into it very soon that will, I want to put this delicately, how it will temper the expectations of getting rewards, or the want of getting rewards. And I'm going to leave it at that. And I know people probably hate me when I do this and I post this in forums and everyone's like, well, then tell us what it is. But we just can't do that right now for that. But that's my opinion on this. I'm not the only member. I'm not the largest voter. I'm not the biggest person. We are a DAO, and I'm here to listen to everyone's opinion. But that's my opinion, and my name is on it in a lot of ways. So it might hold a little bit more sway. But I'm here to listen to the community about this. And if you can come up with ideas around how to do it, I'm all ears.
I think, Troy, if it's okay if I jump in without getting us into any legal hot water, to back away from anything like redistribution or anything like that, or any of these weird dynamics that do become trickier. I think on the surface, we can say that the marketplace has fees, and those fees are pointed at the DAO. And I don't think I need to say any more than that, basically. I think that speaks for itself to some degree.
Yeah, I mean, the fees do definitely the protocol collects fees, right? And those fees go into the DAO, and how those fees are redistributed is up to the DAO, essentially. If the DAO decides long term they want to do something, I don't want to say extreme, but if they want to do something, I don't think anyone is not going to listen, but core team members are going to express their concerns. So it's not that we don't want to. It's just there's just things that have to be considered. Like looks rare is Anon, right? Like we are not Anon. People know where this is coming from. They know that
we don't even know if what they're doing is legal. Those guys are not, like Troy said, they're Anon. Like, we're a fully doxed team, and basically if we do shit like that, the repercussions fall back on us as the team and the founders. Like, we just have to tread lightly and be careful with anything that we do or say around this type of stuff. So, like, until there's a little bit more like guidance or even more insight into what like is going on with some of these types of like protocol incentivizations, like, like we can't even truly say that we know that like looks isn't just like full on wash trading. But like we're not going to go accuse other protocols of that, but like there are like articles on the internet that say like this stuff is basically like fake numbers and people are able to do this. And even that's even a more, legal thing that like we just like are like we like no one has the answers to these things. And it's really like if you go try to do some of this stuff, you're really just it's like driving a bike on one wheel. So like you don't really know, like you might be able to make it to the other side, but essentially if you need to turn, you're fucked. But I don't know. We can jump over that question.
The thing is that I would much rather get these things up and running and going and decentralizing them before we get to that point. But it is important to know that it's not like the marketplace isn't collecting fees, right? Like it is built in there in some way. We're collecting way less fees than OpenSea. We're collecting, like we are magnitudes lower. And so these fees can then be used for collections that want to come to the protocol. There's ways to redistribute them accordingly. If it goes to all the token holders because there's a token, it just gets really tricky. And so if it goes directly, right? So we need to think through this and we need to think smartly about it. And I think there's going to be stuff that's included in the ecosystem that will temper this sentiment. I really do think that. So that I just want to leave it at that then.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that.
Thanks,
okay.
Troy.
The next question is from Flammel. We love you, Flammel. He goes, the temple, what is that? So, Nick,
nice.
Algie, do you guys want to fucking talk about the temple? Maybe don't give too much alpha, but definitely maybe shout out the temple because that shit is coming soon.
I don't know if they have enough power level to set foot in the temple yet. It's a very holy place.
I think we should not leak too much about Tempo, just because we're still kind of we don't have it like fully architected and planned out yet.
Temple, let's put it this way. Temple is a very safe place for your NFTs and all your NFT information. It's not like a safe. It's not a safe, but it is a place where you will go and you meditate with your NFTs. You go to the temple and they will show you the way through the metaverse.
A non-fungible sanctuary, if you will.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Okay. Has the team reached out to any crypto NFT media outlets to do interviews leading to around the launch of the marketplace? No, we don't reach out to any crypto media places. They reach out, and we actually just got featured in Fortune magazine last week about the lobby lobsters, and honestly, I have a few journalists who have been reaching out who want to do some articles about the universe marketplace as we launch. So yeah, we will be also we'll be posting our own articles, but yeah, there will be articles from media and the outlets. We are going to be doing more AMAs. I've been talking with Regima at Schiller, and he was telling me that he wants us to start doing more Twitter spaces with other communities. So we'll start joining those. Like the team will start joining those. We'll start figuring out more of that kind of updated. So definitely more marketing is coming. Part of the reason why y'all haven't seen marketing is because we really haven't had shit to market. We had the polymorphs, but it's we've been trying to build this marketplace and get all the features. So now that we really start rolling these out, we actually know that we've been on for a few months. We have a ton of stuff that we can roll out. We even have, videos, documentation on all the products and features that we're going to release. So we have a lot coming on the marketing side. We definitely have connections with some of the bigger brands. So we'll work on that. Don't worry about that. Mark J. And then there's the pterodactyl head. Let's talk Pepe's. Did we ever hear back from Fury? Tyler, I think that's a direct question at you.
No. I mean, he responded with Shield and Pepe, but he didn't really respond to anything other than that. So I didn't know,
let's follow up with
Bring back Pepe.
Okay. So I posted a question in here, but from Twitter, from Apollo 14. He asked, so I can't make the AMA, but I have questions. Will polymorphs be able to use ASM brains, and do polymorphs and Goblin Town connection? I think simply the answer to these questions are yes. We have a plan for the polymorphs, and we will be releasing that plan soon. And yes, the polymorphs will be able to have ASM brains, and yes, the polymorphs are going to be going to Goblin Town. Okay, next question.
Polymorphs or Lindy?
What?
The polymorphs are Lindy. I think we've been around long enough where we can say that now.
Nice.
We have staying power because we are iconic. I don't think anyone has any details on Goblin Town to even leak. So I think
they're born in Goblin Town.
Nobody knows anything. So if anyone tells you about Goblin Town, they're lying.
If I tell you about Goblin Town, I'm definitely lying because
the sources, they made it up because nobody knows except for Aaron and Tyler, and they're not going to tell you shit because I already tried. What's
the source? Nick made it up.
So all you need to know about Goblin Town is that all of you know nothing.
All I know is that I know nothing. I like it.
Okay, so Lucky Luke saying, when in the Fluff Discord, 8,000 people, and they see that we're partnering with Fluff World, how can we best explain to the average Joe in the Fluff Discord, first off, what is XYZ? This is a 3-part question. I mean, I can answer this. Essentially, XYZ is your token to a community curated marketplace. It's the gateway to what everyone has been asking for the last 6 months, which is a community led project that is controlled by the community. We are going to see features get pushed out by the community. And it's also an open source protocol that anyone can. And I think that's the powerful thing. And really, maybe the biggest differentiator of like us from an OpenSea or some of these other protocols is, or actually, I wouldn't even call them protocols because we are a protocol. And, you know, that's essentially what we're going to be as a NFT protocol where, you know, you can list these NFTs and they're going to be listed on the protocol, not just some front end on OpenSea or, you know, but I don't know. It's hard to answer what XYZ is. I mean, if someone else wants to take a crack at it.
I like the second question he asks. How does XYZ directly benefit Fluff World? And I know most people holding fluffs are not big fans of those selling fluffs, but we all know that we need to sell our fluffs here and there when the time is right, and the personal circumstances line up. And in those cases, it would make much more sense to list your fluff on XYZ Universe Marketplace than it would over on OpenSea or anywhere else. And that's ultimately what we're going for, not just for the fluffs, but across the board. So I think it directly benefits fluffs in the same way it benefits everybody else, with lower fees, priority at the top of the aggregators, and you know, a smooth, comfy, non-fungible trading experience.
Chuba and Tyler probably could answer number best. Well, actually, I think I could answer this too. So, like, how will we truly take a share of the entire NFT marketplace volume going forward? So far, so many of our 50K fluff friends are experiencing, searching, flipping on OpenSea. You know, bottom line is, how can we strategically make ourselves great partnership where we all belong together? Okay, so like realistically, we go from approach, and if the artists and teams that are building these projects believe that, you know, XYZ is like community run like it is, then we truly believe that that's what the incentivization is too. That's honestly, like, it also tangles into something that we talked about earlier. Like, we haven't necessarily come up with any plans to incentivize people other than like we've built this marketplace that essentially is what people have been asking for. And like, I mean, an auction house that has 0 fees, that's going to their work there. A marketplace that takes a much smaller fee than OpenSea, that's going to get people listing there. Essentially, there's other ways to incentivize people than just giving them free shit and airdropping. Like, we understand people want that kind of stuff, but like, I mean, like, what is like the Apple iPhone owning it every year? You know what I mean? It's like, I think that like there's other ways to incentivize in this like looks rare model where there's people just like like literally, like, I can't even explain it. Like, I don't know, maybe someone else wants to try and like chime in here, but
Yeah, I mean, me and Tyler have been talking about a concept he brought up recently, the Pareto distribution, and it basically states that the top 20% has 80% of the impact. And this is true, you know, across the board, whether it's in like ant colonies or in, you know, top 20% of workers at a company doing 80% of the work, or anything like that. So I can't leak any more alpha than Tyler will let me share. And I'm not sure what I'm allowed to leak here, but I think that thinking about the top 20% and focusing specifically on them is a very, very critical decision that we could make.
Tyler, do you have anything to add? I mean, essentially, like, we tried to build a marketplace.
No, but I gotta hop, everybody.
Okay.
Hey,
See
Tyler.
you, brother. Okay, so Andy Kaufman asked kind of the same question, like what plans does the team have in mind for attracting new users, marketplace, compete with other platforms? We kind of just answered that. I mean, like we'd love like community suggestions of what the community thinks we do. But like we'd like to see like more suggestions and just like looks rare type trading incentivizations. Like we've even talked about, I mean, like incentivizing people for like trying to help us verify collections or doing all sorts of stuff. Like we almost think that it'd be better to come to decisions as a community. Like if like we've brainstormed a lot of this stuff, but essentially like we almost can't agree as a team. It's sometimes like we need some community guidance or like just like maybe like input on it of like what everyone else thinks we should be doing. I mean, I don't really know how to say that. I mean,
We got a good question here, Mark. If we're ready to move on to the next one.
yeah.
I just want to say, shout out Lobby Lobsters, shout out Universe XYZ. Y'all are the greatest. And that's it. Shout out Chad and shout out Zach. Both DGens. And yeah, I'm not too big of a tech guy, but I own a Lobby Lobster and I love it. And I love what it stands for. And I love what y'all are doing. And that's all really I got to say.
The Lobby Lobsters love you too.
Bird.
Thank you, G Bird.
So the next question is, will there be some form of DAO presence to adjust the listing fees in the future? For example, a 5% royalty fee, we open a vote on Snapshot for XYZ holders, and if the quorum is reached, we adjust the fee. So currently the marketplace fee is a DAO configurable parameter. What does that mean? It means that a DAO vote on chain through universe governance is required to adjust that number. It means that neither me nor Mark nor anyone can go and single-handedly decide to change fees on you guys. It also means that a snapshot vote on its own is not sufficient to change the fees. In kind of real life, the way that this would look is that we would have a signal form proposal where someone would bring up the fact that this fee that is currently set is not what we want. Maybe they want to argue for lower fees. Maybe they want to argue for higher fees. The community would have a discussion surrounding this. And once there's, a little bit of consensus and there's a coherent kind of approach, it would go into the next stage, which is the hot, cold, hot, warm test, which is done through a snapshot. And this is done this way because there's, it's gasless voting. So there's no cost to actually get everyone voting. Once a snapshot has passed the hot, cold test, it's kind of ready to be introduced into the on-chain governance phase, at which point it'll either be submitted for a proposal on its own or bundled with a bunch of other proposals that have also passed these hot, warm tests. And at that point, if that on-chain vote meets quorum and passes, now the royalty is adjusted. So that I think kind of covers from start to finish what that governance process will look like, and very specifically applied to this example that is already kind of built in this way so that it can play out exactly as I described. Who can I give private feedback to regarding this call? You can give feedback to me, Mark. You can send anyone with a green name a friend request, and we'll be happy to respond in a DM if you want to keep it off the general channels.
Which question are we on? Because I had to walk away for a second.
No worries. I was just covering the governance process a little bit, and I told Ben Franklin where he can go to give us some private feedback.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Ben Franklin. Did we answer this question about the success of the polymorphs and fluffs?
Yeah, I answered that.
Okay.
We like the fluffs.
Will the polymorphs join the burrows? Yes, they will. We've been working on art for the burrows for, I want to say, the last 2 to 3 months. We have like full-on 3D super high-res fluffs, but we also have low-res, or I'm sorry, polymorphs. We have low-res polymorphs too. We have like all sorts of different.
Low
like
res. It's pixel art. It's high resolution pixel art.
Well, no, but
You can't tell
like-
them it's low res. But yeah,
well,
yeah.
I mean, like, okay, so just so everyone knows, like, when you go into the fluff burrows, technically the rendering is going to be low. So, like, they're not going to have, like, the super high qualities. They, like, eventually, I think they're going to get to that point, but, certain, like, sometimes I think this goes with, like, video games. Like, maybe Nick can explain this better, but, like, when you play, like, PUBG or something and you go, like, super low res, like, your frames per second's faster, the shit doesn't glitch as much. But when you go super high res, you can, like, glitch, but, like, obviously you're gonna get a better picture, but, like, your frames per second sucks, sorta. So, like, I mean, I don't want to speak on behalf of Fluff World, but, like, I know they did
the highest quality polymorphs that they can handle on day one, and we'll improve them to be as high quality as they can continue to support.
Yes, they asked for all the different resolutions.
They will still look very good because I imagine they're going to have like lighting and like special rendering and some very cool stuff that we have not yet seen in the NFT space. So I think it's however it plays out, it's going to look beautiful. As beautiful as a polymorph can look, after all.
Okay, I guess, did we answer this question about the airdrop?
Oh, really?
The airdrop UI page is like, we designed it. We haven't updated it into the front end yet. It's coming. Do morphs get Goblin whitelist? We have no idea about any of that kind of stuff.
What is Goblin Town?
I wish I could tell you.
The whole, then we scroll down for like 10 minutes in this pre-MA, it's just Goblin Town, Goblin Town, Goblin Town, every question.
Oh, one thing I do want to say is we had a in their XYZ airdrop, so we're thinking about something to do for those 9 people. We're gonna figure it out, but yeah, the cutoff was at 100, so we'll figure it out. Because those people, I think we're kind of indifferent about those people. We might want to give them something cool, so they don't feel like they missed out or something. All right.
It says, will there be some form of DAO presence to adjust listing fees?
Yeah, we
Future? Oh,
Yeah.
you answered that?
Yeah, I think
I
we
feel like that question though is also kind of confusing because
no,
you're gonna be able to set your own royalties when you're listing is also
marketplace layer royalties, like the universe fee that we always take on every.
Oh, okay.
That's what he was asking about.
Okay, nice. But yeah, we also are gonna have this cool royalty set up when you're listing the NFT that I don't know if I think we've explained it before on a AMA, but basically we'll have like layered royalties. You'll be able to test it out more when we have it released and understand it better then.
Okay. I don't really see any more questions other than if we'll be able to ride Xyz on hoverboard.
There's one more question I see, Mark, and it's asking how long the XYZ airdrop, or how many tokens they'll have at the end of the XYZ airdrop. I can really quickly run down the fact that we cannot tell you how many tokens you'll have at the end because it's dependent entirely on how many people claim their airdrops early. If you claim early, you will probably be bullied by our airdrop channel, but you will also have XYZ tokens. So that decision we leave up to the individual, as we like the freedom. But I know that most of our community members have not claimed. In fact, like, what is it? 100 out of 1,700 roughly have claimed. So you can kind of use that trajectory to maybe come up with some models of how many tokens you'll have at the end, but nobody can give you a deterministic answer there.
Yo, Chuba, Cosmo Kramer thinks we skipped over his question. Can you talk a little bit of the ERC consumables and like how you're going to be able to rent out NFTs on Landworks?
Sorry, can you repeat that? Cut out a little bit.
Can we tell Cosmo Kramer a little bit? He's asking. Hold on, wait. I just lost it.
Can you reply to the question and I'll try to read it and answer it? Or what am I searching for?
Here, I just did it. I said, "Yo."
Oh, I see it. All right. I've been thinking about it, and is it a possibility that we would see products from EnterDAO integrate into the Universe NFT marketplace? Talking about Landworks and Metaportal. Could bring more usability to the platform and let users use all those products more easily on one joint platform. I can't confirm that this is a plan in the works, but I have a little bit of insight into how Landworks and Metaportal are being built, and they're both permissionless systems that can be hooked into. Which means that if the community were in favor of us integrating these products directly into the Universe marketplace, there'd be nothing stopping us from doing so. I could see, a huge benefit of doing something like that, especially as these services become more and more desired by the people kind of using them, especially if land prices were to skyrocket and you want to run venues and shows and do other things. I know a lot of projects like to have a set of land just for a week to run like a giveaway or to do a whatever kind of community building exercise they're doing. And this becomes more and more difficult, as the prices of these things go up. So I can see a huge benefit to Landworks and Metaportal being included as a part of our front end, but I also can't say that that's currently in the plan. But I can say if you all want it to be, it could be.
Yeah, we can do anything community wants. That's the whole point of a DAO. Okay. Atari God Medici is right. First rule of Goblin. Talk about Goblin DAO. Let's get this guy an award. Okay. Okay, thank you, Chuba, for answering that question.
Of course.
Troy, are you still in here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here.
Resistance has a question directed at you. If you want to read it out loud or answer it, but it's at the bottom of the pre-AMA chat.
Yeah, I see it. Hold on, let me think. Hello.
It's kind of long, so you can take a minute. I mean, it's kind of long. I mean, dude, we're not lawyers.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. They're not sharing fees with their cashback and RAR. It could also be illegal shipments. Yeah, so I think that is probably what a lot of people are hoping for. Resistance is that we do get to a place like that. The thing is like from what I've heard, talking with lawyers and people in the space is there's behind the scenes there's a pretty big push to get some sort of open, I think it's called like open harbor laws in America to allow for these type of token mechanics to actually be allowed to operate, because there's just a lot of very powerful entities that want to see something like this happen. So it's not that safe harbor. Thank you, Captain Cheddar. You choose down. The powerful entities definitely want to see this happen. It's just a matter of getting the laws and everything and set in place. The way I usually describe this as is what happened back in the 90s during the first internet wave, where you were not allowed to transact on the internet with credit cards. And they had to go and get literally like congressional approval. They had to get a law, like a giant binding agreement passed through Congress that allowed for this. As soon as that happened, that's when you saw the floodgates open for the early internet. So you got places like Amazon. I mean, Amazon's the most obvious, but then you had pets.com, things like this. So as soon as they did that, it really kind of created this new market that occurred. And that's the internet we know today. But that wasn't always the way it was. There was huge pushback against even allowing people to do credit card transactions over the internet. And so now you have that same kind of energy and force in Web3 that's going on. And so I'm optimistic that we will get to that point where there will be this moment where this switch can be flipped on. But we are not there yet. So we have to play by the rules that we know and we are being advised by from legal counsel on what to do. But like if the DAO does choose to do something like this and people voted in, I mean, there isn't much like the people here that can do about it, right? Like that is the other side of the sword.
I don't want to give like an instruction manual on what not to do to make this happen, but ultimately, like, we're a DAO, right? And that means that everything is up for a vote. Anyone can write a contract that does whatever they want that contract to do and make a vote to send those funds to that contract and execute that in whatever way they see fit. And if the DAO all agrees to do it, there's nothing any of us can do to stop it. Again, I'm not trying to write the instruction manual on what not to do to help you make it happen, but it is to say that it is a real DAO. And that means that just like any other real DAO, there is no founder control or way of blocking any of these things from happening, insofar as that, like, these tokens are out there, people can buy tokens and use those to vote. We can do our best to stay compliant and, you know, make sure that our proposals that we write are not in violation of any laws, but we have no control over what anyone else is going to propose or do or how they vote.
Hey, I have a question. Does like that whole like credit card being, because like that's probably like way before my time, but like that whole credit card thing being able to be used a legit payment online, Troy, does that kind of like revert back to what we were talking about, how like NFTs, even if like you had a legal document on an NFT, like the court like may not like accept
sort of. I mean, that comes down to like what the government will recognize as a legal document. So I don't know what happened with GitHub and when they started putting licenses in there. That's a totally different conversation. I don't even know what happened there. I do remember, because I think I was like 12 or maybe even younger, maybe I was like 11. But I do remember when the credit card approval was passed, because it was like everywhere, and then all of a sudden you had this explosion of .com companies, and it was a free for all. So like people think like if we ever see something like that in crypto, like you haven't seen anything yet. Like you truly are early, because these are global ecosystems that allow for people to transact around the entire world. And so originally a lot of that stuff was just kind of based in America, but now the internet's everywhere. So yeah, I mean that would be a really, really wild situation. And I'm here for it if we do get there.
It looks like Resistance followed up his question with just like regarding Rarible. They are not sharing fees, but they have cash back in Rari. Could this also be a legal issue? I mean, like,
we're not sure. I think
I'd have to Resistance. Yeah, Resistance. I'd have to really go and look at exactly how that works. And I don't really know what it means by like cash back.
Yeah. We don't know how Rarible exactly has that set up. So basically, the short answer is we don't know. But it would be very surprising to me, if Rarible's team didn't communicate with lawyers about their decisions, let's just say, because that's what every team should be doing.
I'd be surprised by that too, just because of the people that are involved there.
Yeah, I mean they can afford the lawyers. If they're not
something about the hashtag thing.
Resistance. Let me put it this way. I will literally go and talk to lawyers about this for you. Okay? Like I will write up an email. If you can send me exactly how this works, if you send me an email about that or send me a message, I will do it, and I will reach out to our people.
Nice.
The way Rarible,
I'm very curious. I'm curious too.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that we have talked about. Part of the reason why we're so nervous about teams have said don't. So we're just all right. But we see other people
for us, but for everyone to understand, for us right now, our number one North Star for the past probably 3 months, well, since the beginning, but for the past 3 months, we have been dead set on getting this thing done, getting everything off of dependencies that all other marketplaces are using. And so it's not that we're not we don't want to look at this and the tokenomics of everything, but the overhead of getting this tech done was much greater than any of us had when we first started out to do this, which is literally a year ago at this point, where it was me, Tyler, Tim, sitting in hotels talking about what can we do. With this after Pepe is let's do a marketplace, and it was a much bigger scope than any of us really realized what we were getting into, and we became laser focused. And this is what we want to get done, and this is what we want to get out. And all these conversations are really great, and I want to have them, but the things that are most important is getting this thing out first, and then we can figure out this other stuff, because it's a DAO, it's upgradable, we can change it, it's not set in stone. And all of you having a voice in here is what's most important, because we're here for it.
Yeah, the treasury isn't going anywhere, and it's not going to grow without a marketplace. We're going to focus on getting that out, and then I think as these conversations start to get wrapped up, especially over the next couple weeks, I think we'll be able to have better answers on how this will look, and we'll be able to answer without falling back on the shield of we're not sure about the legality, because ultimately no one can be 100% certain. But as long as we ship this marketplace, the treasury will accrue the marketplace fees, and from there it'll be up to the DAO and the community as to exactly how we do that. And I think Troy basically is saying he's gonna look into it as much as he can, but we can't give you everything right now, and I think that's okay.
What I was trying to say is that part of this question talks about the way that they airdrop their tokens to people, and I'm gonna drop a link to this forum that we have going on right now that is basically about this topic, and you guys can check it out and participate there. I'm gonna share it in pre-AMA, so take a look in that chat right now. There it is.
What Algie is trying to say is that I think we've all been here for almost an hour and a half now. I'm not seeing too many questions rolling through, so take it to the forums, people.
Naga,
I have to roll. So thanks, everyone.
See you,
a good time, everyone.
Naga, our airdrops have already kind of been determined, but if you are interested in airdrops, just go join this OpenSea forum discussion, and the Alley just posted, and put your input in. And we're all a part of this. We're gonna discuss it. If we think the community, this is we're gonna put this into a DAO vote. So thank you everybody for joining. Thank you everybody for the question.
Somebody asked about popes for these AMAs, Pope NFTs, and I'm DMing him right now.
Is that something that you guys want? If you guys want POAPs for joining these community AMAs, that's definitely something that we can work on. Also, we are. I would like to just say a few more things. Is we're sponsoring an event. Our partners, Articles, are hosting the opening event at Eve Day. So we are going to be sponsoring that event. A lot of the going to be there. If anyone's out at in like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I think it is. It's like February. I think it's February like 16th or 17th is the party. Is the opening event on the weekend, because like during the week like a hackathon, but weekend type things. Yeah, that's something we're gonna do, and then I think it's like a pretty long deal. They're gonna have open panels. We're gonna do and try to post that online. But it's gonna be like a universe panel where I think me, Ryan, Tim, and Joy, and we will kind of talk about our mission, what we want to accomplish, kind of what really like some of those questions that Lucky Luke was asking, like, what is XYZ? And we'll try to get that recorded and post that.